Hello everyone. In the previous class, we had seen what is meant by construction safety and definition of accidents, incidents, near misses, and then causes of various construction accidents and so on. And some researches conducted on this construction accidents, construction site accidents across the globe. They were able to find out, come up with some theories which are applicable for this, and they are namely accident proneness theory and goal freedom alertness, adjustment stresses, distraction theory, and chain of events and all. We will not be going through in detail, but we'll try to have a fairly good understanding about this. Accident proneness means, as the name suggests, proneness. They are more they more vulnerable, you can say, proneness. And there is a fundamental question, I think, which this question we might have asked at some point of time. We might have asked this question. Like when one of our friends they decides to ride a two-wheeler, then we'll ask this question. When an elderly person or anybody goes for a ride, or when a child attempts to walk over a small wall and all, then we'll say, oh, this child will fall, because they're more prone to, we feel that there is a perception that child is more prone to accidents. So such things, that is the basis of that. And now the accident proneness, a personal idiosyncrasy predisposing the individual who possesses it in a marked degree to a relatively high accident rate. So this is the definition given by Farmer and Chamber in 1929. So this theory was there almost a century ago. Now the innate propensity for accidents. So some people, they are more vulnerable and they are more they have more propensity for accidents. So this is what this theory says, and there are some basic traits for this propensity, which I think it is not disputable also, like fatalistic and extroverted, aggressive. So some human traits. So people having this kind of traits predominantly, they are they are more they are more vulnerable, or they have more chances of getting into accidents. So therefore our basic human trait is also one of the important reason for this. ചിലപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് അറിയായിരിക്കും, ഇങ്ങനെ ചില ആളുകളില്ല, വളരെയധികം എക്സ്ട്രവേർട്ടാണ് അവർ, എന്തും ചാടി ചെയ്യും, ഭയങ്കര ഓവർ കോൺഫിഡൻസ് ഉള്ള ആളുകൾ, അവർ ഒന്നിനെയും കെയർ ചെയ്യില്ല. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ആളുകൾക്കൊക്കെ കൂടുതൽ ആക്സിഡൻറ്റ്സ് ഉണ്ടാവാൻ സാധ്യതയുണ്ട്. പിന്നെ അതുപോലെ അഗ്രസീവ്, എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ വളരെ ദേഷ്യം വരിക, അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെയുള്ള ആളുകളൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടാവും. ഫാറ്റലിസ്റ്റിക് മീൻസ്, I think we need to check in dictionary, like what is the exact meaning of that. Then accident theories. Now perception and willingness to take risk, that is risk proneness. Now age versus risk proneness, and situation versus risk proneness. Perception and willingness to take risk. Okay, perception and willingness to take risk. In some age group, the people are more so if you take the statistics, that may give us some idea that the people belonging to certain age group are more involved in accidents than the people in other age groups. So this may be because of the willingness to take risk, and because of their basic characteristics which result into that. And then situation versus risk proneness, because the same thing when done in a varying climatic conditions. Say there is a slippery on that roof. If somebody works on at height, and if there is some slippery because of climate, then that they are more prone to accident. So this happens, and age is another criteria, and only few hypotheses have been validated statistically. because this is one challenge with accidents and accident the database. The problem is it's very limited information is available on this, and how can it be applied to reduce the accidents? If we say that there is something called proneness to accidents, and if we go with this theory, then how is this learning or understanding about this proneness to accidents can be applied so as to reduce the accidents? Is one important thing that you need to keep in mind. And second is goal freedom alertness. It reflects the idea that the psychologically satisfying and desirable work environment lead to the safe performance of tasks and activity. The theory expresses the idea that accidents are low quality activity due to unpleasant psychological work environment. I think this again we can understand. If you are taking up job of our interest, obviously we'll be able to perform it in a safe manner. At the same time, if you are involved in some job which is not satisfactory in any manner, and if it is not the one which we have intended, then obviously there is more chances for us to get involved with some accidents and all. So this is another important theory. And then adjustment stress. According to this theory, the stress is not conceptualized as demand response or process, but as a state of disequilibrium exists when it affects the individual's normal level of psychological well-being. So how much an individual can cope up with the changing environment, changing scenario or situations. So the same external conditions will have different effects at individuals, and that is actually lead somebody to keep somebody in equilibrium and some other people in disequilibriums, which results into some accidents. Now, accident theory, distraction theory, internal, and there is distraction theory external also, which I'll discuss later. Distraction theory internal means accident causation theory applied to a situation where there is a recognized hazard. Accident causation theory, which is applied to a situations where there is a recognized hazard, and here the focus on tasks, when high task achievement, and then distraction, low task achievement means if the focus is more on task, then the achievement of task will be more, and if the focus is more on distraction, then achievement of task will be less. And okay, now we need to see the graph also. Okay, now our productivity and safety in conflict. If you remember, in the first video, I've mentioned about the conflict and tussle between construction safety officers and project managers, and other people who are working at site, because they want to keep progressing with the work. They want to catch up with the time schedule and baselines and all, whereas the safety officer is a person who gives approval only if everything is all the activities are being conducted in a safe manner. So then that will involve cost, and that will involve consume time. So that is in a way that appears to be working against the productivity. So, and that's a basic reason for this conflict. Accident theory is distraction theory internal. Now you can see this graph. On left x-axis we have task achievement ranging from low task achievement to high task achievement. Similarly, probability of injury on y-axis from low probability, less probability, to very high probability of getting injuries. And now suppose there are minor hazards. See, there are different types of hazards, and these hazards are we cannot sometimes in a project, we have to deal with these hazards cannot be changed, but only thing, how we can reduce the impact of this hazard is what we can do by this proper planning and proper safety measures. Now the minor hazards, some sort of hazard, if that will have more productivity and less probability of injuries. So that is a combination. And when as the and on top x-axis you can find there is another graph. So this is not just a two axis. Another axis is distraction due to work hazard. So as the task achievement increases, then distraction due to work hazard also increases. Chances of distraction also increases with the task achievement. Okay, then and obviously the probability of injury also increases. Probability of injury also increases as the distraction increases, or as well as the task achievement increases. Now for the minor hazard, the probability of injury will be less, and when it comes to moderate hazards, the basic nature is same, but only thing, it will have more probability of injury. And when it comes to serious hazard, the same pattern, but the probability of injury will be high. And I think if you take up one example, it will be clear. So this is an example for the same internal distraction theory of a painter standing on a support and a distraction from the activity. A painter, now we have taken the case of a painter who stands on a platform to perform his duty, but there is some distraction, some internal distraction for him. And probability of injury, see now if you see this, if that person is standing on scaffolding means it is a temporary platform, okay, scaffolding, then it is relatively safe, and therefore the task achievement will be relatively higher compared to standing on a ladder and performing the same duty, or and same way standing on a stool and performing the same duty. If the same for the same task, if you choose different types of some platforms, then the productivity will be, task achievement will vary, and similarly the probability of injury also will be variance. And I must to put that distraction due to work hazard, that actually comes at the top of top x-axis. The distraction increases with the task achievement, and we have to focus, and when we give more focus on the project and or that activity, then we will be more safe. Okay, more safe. At the same time, task achievement will be less. Correct. Task achievement will be less, as well as distraction also will be less. So when we give low focus, we don't pay much attention, then the probability of accident or injury will be high. At the same time, there will be much significant increase in the task achievement, as well as significant increase in the level of distraction if you give low attention. So this is a basic idea. And the accident theory is chain of event theory. Chain of event theory says accidents are a result of series of events, and if any event in this series or chain had not occurred, the accident might be averted. And last event is usually caused by the worker. So usually what happens in a construction site, we often, whenever we hear a construction site accident, what comes to our mind is the people who are working at construction site, right? People who are working at that site. So if you try to figure out what is the root cause of these accidents and all, then we'll be able to identify that the epicenter of all these problems maybe from higher officials, or maybe from supervisor, or maybe even from it may be from their family members, okay, or some incidents. So that could be the original cause. And the last event is usually caused by the worker. So always the accidents are manifested on the activity of the worker. So therefore it is imperative to identify the root cause of these problems to avoid the further future occurrence. Now, the chain of events is not strictly a theory, but a means to prevent and analyze accidents. And chain of events, example is given here. Situation is, worker falls off third story and is seriously injured. So this is what we observe at a construction site one fine morning. And if you further, if on investigation, we will find that that person got seriously injured because he or she was not wearing safety belt. Okay, and then no rails around there was no rails around the perimeters. So there was no protection rails also available in that. That was another observation that could be made. And then workers assume safety belts is not available. So on further investigation, could identify when on probing into the reason for not wearing safety belt, it is found that the worker was under an impression that the safety belt is not available in the store, okay, suppose, or with the safety office. So then, and that's why they chose to climb up and then try to perform their activity, but they met with these accidents. And now workers, others were not wearing safety belts, and it is not only that, then when that person looked around, his colleagues were also not wearing the safety belt, and might be that they are also under the same impression. So all of this added to him getting involved with the job without ensuring the proper necessary mandatory safety precautions. And then long form to fill the belt from the store. So on further probing in on the same matter with the other staff and all other workers, sometimes it could be found that the procedure for availing the safety belt is really involved, and it's really hectic, and it's really difficult, and therefore people, they choose not to use these belts. So they preferred that. And now even I remember during one of my earlier site experiences, I remember, I think it was during the internship at a very very special project in construction Chennai. I could find that they were working in a very unique and they were adopting a very unique method for construction, that top-down construction approach they were involved in. But some of their laborers, they were not using the safety boots and all properly, because when they were excavating, they were standing barefoot. And so on inquiry with the safety officer, I could understand that it is actually intervening, and it is providing some sort of discomfort for the for the workers, so they can have better productivity and they can work at ease without using these kind of PPEs and all, PP and all. But which doesn't. But at the other side, it is exposing them more to risk and danger. So this happens, and now if the reason, the final reason, root cause of all these problems is because of the long form which is to be filled by these people, then obviously who is responsible for this? That's a question. And how could the chain be broken? So if suppose like somebody who comes after a vacation and there was some problem which happened in his family, and on reaching here again, there will be some sort of problems which which you will be facing, and then there could be some sort of conflict because of this. There could be some sort of conflict with colleagues, and that again will aggravate, and then it will finally reach the construction his job site, and then finally it will take the form of an accident. So it could be from anywhere. So at some point we have to break this chain. Now chain of event theory, basically it is about the management of various activities which are connected, and chain of event analysis show that in most accident management can somehow break the chain. By breaking the chain can be done by enforcing procedures, inadequate facilities, this chain of events is due to enforcing procedures, then inadequate facility, poor design or selection, poor attitude, inadequate training and poor maintenance, inadequate planning and layout, failure to recognize hazard, lack of comprehension, inadequate coordination. So these are the these are the major causes for chain of events. Okay, we'll continue the remaining portions in the next video.